Hello and welcome back to Total Crypto for another video. This is going to be a brand new video series on learning how to trade crypto. So we're going to be starting off with XRP. So why don't we get into the technicals? Hello guys and welcome back to how to trade XRP. Right, firstly, what I always like to do before I go into a trade, I always zoom out from a larger time frame to give me a directional bias where we are heading. Now, as we can clearly see, ever since from down here, we've been gone all the way up. We pulled back, we then made a little sideways before we ultimately came back crashing down. This would have been a great buying opportunity because had you loaded up there, you could see that we've been staircasing our way up, quite literally making that rounding of the bottom, which gives us a bullish continuation to the upside. How high? Well, we don't know quite yet in a minute, but when it comes down to technical analysis, this is sort of ways that you should be thinking on how to structure your trades, for the day or for the week. I prefer doing for the week because it gives me a larger confluence of a trade in terms of making a winning trade rather than losing trade. That's why I hate using like the 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, or even an hour sometimes, unless if I'm scalping. But if you like to get the bigger gains, swing trading is also one of the best form of trades because you don't have to look at the chart every single minute, and it gives you a bigger winning ratio at the end of the day. Once again, it all depends on your appetite. So remember guys, this is not financial advice, this is just purely for entertainment, showing exactly how I would look to trade. And if you'd like to find out more about the trading programs, you may also head down to my description where you can see in my Patreon that there is an option where you can subscribe, so you could also learn from a demo account. Therefore, you can transfer your new learned skills on how to trade on a demo onto the real account. Right, let's get back into the video. Right guys, so first things first, because we've been moving up, we do expect a pullback, and now currently we are seeing that pullback. So that means if we were to look to trade this, I would look at two areas. The first area, as we are pulling back right now, this would be the first important area to look for a trade. So what I would do in that situation, I would add a limit order anywhere around here, waiting for us to come back down, and then hopefully it will get me into my trade. Now, if that doesn't happen and we do come down fairly close, nearest to that area, and if we get anywhere near close to this area here, I would still look to trade. Reason why? Because chances are we will eventually look for that move to the upside from here to there. It doesn't have to be precisely within that box, because if we see, say for example, the next candle here somewhere to be like an engulfing green candle, it's more or less a bullish continuation to the upside from there, or a reversal going back up. So let's say for example I'll pull out the brush over here. Let's say we come back down here, we print another candle like that for instance, even a candle is not a circle. But if we see the next candle coming down here, I'll be looking to trade. But if we don't quite reach down there and we see like another candle that is bigger than or higher than this candle there, that would be a nice entry for us to move back up to the top. And if that was to happen, we would get anything in the region of 24% move to the upside. But what if we do see a massive pullback from this region here? Let me just get rid of all these circles. But what if we do see a decent retracement back into this zone right over here? Then I'll be looking to make sure that I've already added my limit order. If not, I'll be looking to trade to get in anywhere around here for a bigger move to the upside. So from here to there, that can give me approximately 38 or 39% move to the upside. Now remember guys, you can do this two ways. You can either do spot trading, which doesn't have any kind of leverage, and you'll still make 39% move to the upside. However, if you are looking to margin trade like 2-3x, you may do so, but remember, you are in risk of blowing your account, so make sure you have a nice risk management. What that means is basically that you don't want to say for example go into trade and not have any stop loss. In fact, if you were to enter trade anywhere around here, let's pull out the long position just to give you an example. Alright, so let's say that we do enter somewhere around about here. You want to make sure firstly here it is. Okay, you want to make sure that as you're trading, you give yourself a little bit of a buffer. The reason why, because if we then look to our left, it looks like that's obviously our last lows. And if you look across to further left, that's also lower than this one over here. So quite potentially we might wick a little bit further down. And I would give myself maybe a little bit more of a leeway to let the chart, do its thing, where it might pull back, wick a little bit down, and then it might be back off to the races. And then in terms of my take profit, it will be firstly around about up there, because like I said, that's still a pretty decent move to the upside, because that'll give you about a 32% move to the up. So if I was to leverage trade this, I'll do like a small minimal leverage trading, like 2 or 3x. So that would mean, let's say for example, our take profit is 32%. If you were to 2x that is 64%. 3x, you get the gist. And then I'll be looking to take my profit from here. So that's a spot trading on like an intraday style. But if you are doing your leverage trading, then you'll be considering your 2-3x's to take your profit up here. And that will be still a pretty decent area, because you should always consider taking profit where you can, because you just don't know whether we see a massive rejection from this area. And if we do, we could see ourselves pulling all the way back into this region, so you've potentially lost all this profits from here. So try to take profit along the way, unless if you've got the mentality of hodling for the long haul, then it doesn't really matter where you trade, because your goal is ultimately to increase your bag whenever we drop further down. But if you're an intraday trader, you're looking to take profit where you can. So this would be the first profit take, and that would be a marvelous move. But what if you see a move continuing, to the upside? So what do you do in that situation? Quite simply, all you got to do is make sure you don't put any take profit, but just bear in mind that you should physically think to try to take a profit from here. Maybe take some profit from your trade, maybe like 50% of your trade, or even take about 50% of your trade, or your initial deposits of trade. And in that way you just let the chart do its thing where it continues to the upside. And if we do see a continuation, your next profit take should be right up here. Reason why? Because now we'll be breaking the structure if we do break up from the zone, and our next area will be right up there. Now potentially, if this was to happen, then that means if we move to the next level up, that will give us a 56% move to the upside, and that would be really sick. So I hope this kind of makes sense, guys, because all you got to do when you're trading, look for levels of taking profit, because that is the aim of the game. Take profits where you can, because I see a lot of my friends and many people who I communicate over the years, when they come down to trading, they just don't know where to take profits. This would be the perfect example, which is, let's go from blank screen once again, and I'll quickly repeat the process just so you can get the gist, and we can just practice along with me, and that way you should be able to understand how to take profit, and also when to exit your trade if you're seeing it's a losing trade. Alright, so let's get back into this. So as we can see, we're going up. So what do? We look for the last lows, which is right over here. Reason why, we see a print of multiple green candles there. It looks like we're on the verge of coming back down into this region. So that means you want to take profit anywhere. So you want to enter trade anywhere around about here. Even if you see like a little wick entering or approaching here, it still might be worth taking that trade. So with that in mind, make sure you look for a possible trading opportunity like this. Oh, wrong one. Let's get rid of that. So let's say, for example, before it comes back down, this should be the area of interest where you like to trade. So you might want to put a limit order, something like this. and you take your first profit take around about here, around about 33%. Give yourself a nice room for stop loss, because if we look to our left, we see this to be the last low. That is almost the same level, so quite possibly this could be a liquidity grab, meaning that you see so many candles here, so possibly we might see a wick to go down. That's why you may want to increase your stop loss just a little bit more, so you can mitigate, blowing up your account. And if we see a nice move back up to the upside, you want to pay attention to where it gets close to your take profit. If you haven't placed like a take profit and you want to let it run and see how high it can go, then just keep an eye on the chart in terms of how we react in this zone first. If you see a confident break to the upside, then your next take profit level should be up here at 55% move to the upside, and this would be a nice bullish case overall for XRP, because once we do bounce from this area and continue on our way up, then ultimately we really want to see whether we quickly break out from this zone here, and if so, that means we have an even bullish continuation of us going much higher up, or at least our next level should be right up there. So I hope, guys, this is a useful and informative video on how to trade XRP. It's all got to do the levels and taking profit whenever you can. But if you see a continuation to the upside, and if it doesn't make sense, you can always exit from your trade. Guys, it's not that difficult at all. It can wreck you emotionally, because sometimes you might see, oh, hang on a second, my trade is coming to play, we're going up and up and up, and it's gone. You don't want to be in that situation. That's why you want to make sure whenever you see that you're in profit, then it might be also a very good idea to place like a trailing stop loss. It just means that, let's say for example, we do something like this, where we go up and then we come back down, but then now we continue to make the higher up. Then you want to make sure you do increase your stop loss. Reason why? Because now it is now turning into a trading stop loss, which means ultimately you'll be in profit even if you come back down and wick yourself out from your trading stop loss. You would at least be in a profit of 10, 15, 20%, because your stop loss is traveling up as XRP is moving to the upside. I think this is the best way, guys, because that way, if you have a trailing stop loss and you make sure that it's not like too small of a trading stop loss, if it's like a nice healthy 15%, that's quite good. Because if we put this long position graph right over here from where we were, if say for example this plays out where we go up, down, up, that means the next trading stop loss should be at least around about here. Reason why? Because we bounced into the zone before we pushed our way back up, and that would have put you around about 11-13% up on your trade already. And if it continues to do something like this, and then it pushes up, that means you once again do a trading stop loss and say that is now your new trading stop loss. So that means if you follow through like the sort of movements and you're doing a trading stop loss to each level, it pulls back in. That's the first one, and now this is the second one. That means you'd be up by around about 29% move to the upside. But what if this time it didn't go any higher up? Yeah, let's say for instance from there it then comes crashing all the way back down and wicking you out of your trade. At least you've bagged yourself a 29% win rate, or 29% trade from this winning trade, and that would be a marvelous way of trading successfully, and most importantly increasing your win rate. That's only if your trade goes into your favor and into the direction where you want. Guys, this can be a very powerful tool. If you do like a trading stop loss this way, even if you get wicked out, you can still make money, and then you can repeat the process again and again and again. That's how you become a successful trader. And this also works on a bearish sentiment as well, or bearish case, to that saying, we'll do something like this, and then if we pull back up, let's pull out the hang on a second, let's pull out the short position right over here. You give yourself a little bit of room for the chart to move, because let's say, for example, if you do that, and we put all the way down like so, all the way down to here, then this area here should be like a resistance for it to pull back up before we should see a move back down like that. But sometimes it may not. Sometimes it may not be as clean as that. It might just go something like this, and then ultimately you will go into your favor, into that direction like so. And that could be another way of trading downwards as well as upwards. Just use the same theory when you go upwards to the reverse as well. And guys, this can be very simple. You just got to make sure you view the chart from a larger time frame, because if you go into your 1 hour time frame, you realize it becomes very wicky. It moves very rapidly as well. Ultimately, it will stop you out from your trades, and you'll be constantly losing your trade if you don't pay attention to that chart. And I see a lot of people do that. In fact, it looks like a very ugly chart from a smaller time frame. So guys, yep, that would be the end of the how to trade XRP. I hope you find this useful and informative. If you'd like to subscribe to my videos, guys, do me a favor, subscribe to me right over here. If you haven't yet checked my last video, check over here, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.